In this video, we will develop our first deep learning model using TensorFlow. We will work on a fashion MNIST dataset which we can get on the GitHub page. Let's go and read about the dataset. This is the fashion MNIST dataset and this is the GitHub page where you can get the data. These are the images which we have to classify. The dataset contains 60,000 examples and a test set of 10,000 examples. So there are total 70,000 samples, out of which 60,000 are for training the model and the 10,000 is for testing our model. Each example is a 28 into 28 grayscale image associated with a label from 10 classes. We can see these are the images of different clothes and the class label is also given. We can scroll down and see the class names. These are the class names. 0 represent t-shirt or top, trouser, pullover, dress, ankle boot. So these are the labels which we have to classify, and these labels are present in this picture which we are going to classify using our first deep learning model. From TensorFlow, we will import Keras. Keras is the deep learning framework and it is easy to run. This is the official website of Keras. If you want to read more about it, you can go to this page and you can learn whatever the information is given on this page. So this page will give you information about the Keras. Now we are going to import some other libraries which we are going to require while developing the deep learning model, such as NumPy, Pandas and Matplotlib. Let's go and import them one by one. Now we are going to download the fashion MNIST dataset which we have seen on the GitHub page and store in the variable MNIST. We will use function dataset from Keras. I have to first import Keras. From TensorFlow, import Keras. Now I can run this. I have stored the fashion MNIST dataset in the variable MNIST. Now we will load our dataset into two tuples, one for training and the other for testing. We are going to define two tuples, one for xtrain and ytrain. And the other for xtest and ytest. In these two tuples xtrain, ytrain and xtest, ytest, in xtrain, ytrain we have our training dataset, in xtest and ytest we have our test dataset. It is downloading data frame from TensorFlow. We will have to wait for some time. We have successfully downloaded the dataset. Now let's go and check the shape of xtrain and xtest. In XTrain, we are having 60,000 samples which are images, and each image has 28 into 28 size. You can also check in XTest. In our test dataset, we have only 10,000 samples, that is 10,000 images of 28 into 28 size. Let's check the values present inside our XTrain variable. As you can see, the values are starting from 0 and there will be some maximum values. Whenever we are developing a neural network, we cannot give neural network values more than 1. We have to convert our values between 0 and 1. We are going to find the minimum and maximum value present in our XTrain data, in this data, and then we are going to convert those values between 0 and 1. Let's check the minimum and maximum value of our XTrain dataset. From NumPy, we will use the function minimum. In our XTrain dataset, the minimum value is 0. And the maximum value is 255. We need to bring these values between 0 and 1 because neural network cannot take values higher than 1. Now we will look at the labels present in the Y variable, Y train. These are the labels 900305 which we have seen in our dataset. Let's go and check it again. As we can see, 9 represent ankle boot, 8 represent bag, 7 sneaker, and so on. 0 for t-shirt or top, 1 trouser. As we can see in our Y train, we have labels given in the form of numbers. We will make one more variable and we will store the actual values against those numbers. We will copy the labels from GitHub page and store in a new variable. We will copy all this label and we will make a new variable class names. We will paste this. We have made a new variable and we have stored all the class name in the variable class underscore names. Let's look at some of the images using Matplotlib library. We will first find PLT figure, PLT IM show. We are going to see the first image present in our training variable. So the index is 0. To check the first image, the index is 0. In our train dataset, the first image is ankle boot. The image number is 9 and you can see here on 9th place we have ankle boot. Now we will start data preparation for deep learning model. As I have told you earlier, neural network does not take input greater than 1, so we will have to bring all the values between 0 and 1. And to bring the values between 0 and 1, we will divide each sample by the maximum number, which we have seen 255 in our X train data set. So we are going to divide each and every sample by 255 to bring it down between 0 and 1. As you can see, the maximum value is 255. So we will divide each and every sample by 255 to bring it between 0 and 1. And we want the numbers to be in float, so we are going to put zero point 0 here. We will do the same for X test. We can check whether the values have come down between 0 or not. We are going to plot the above same image once again. In this image, as we can see, the values between 0 and 215. And now in our new training set, let's see. We can see now the values have come down between 0 and 1. We can pass this to our neural network and we can develop our model. Now we are going to start with the model building. The basic building block of any neural network is neural network layer. We will define some layers which will feed information into hidden layers, and then it will start training the model. For that, we are going to import sequential and dense layers from Keras. Let's go and import sequential and dense layers from Keras. From TensorFlow.keras, import sequential. From TensorFlow.keras dot layer, import flatten layer and dense layer. There's some spelling mistake. Keras.layers. S is missing. We have successfully imported sequential model, flatten layer and dense layer. Now we are going to make an object of sequential model and store in the variable model. We will start adding layers to our neural network. The first layer will be flatten layer. Flatten layer will be used as first layer and it will transform the data into one dimension. We will use the function model.add flatten. Here we have to give the input shape, and here we'll define 28 by 28, which is the size of our grayscale image. Now we are going to add one more layer, which is a dense layer. I forgot to write L here. Dense layer. Here we will pass the number of neurons to 128. We will also specify the activation function which we are going to use. We are going to use ReLU activation function. There are different types of activation function like sigmoid, tan, ReLU, leaky ReLU. In this model, we are using ReLU activation function. Now we are going to add one more layer. This is going to be our output layer. We will use a function, and here we have to specify 10. 10 is the number of class levels. So whatever is your class level, how many total number of levels are there, you have to specify those number here. So in our class variable we have 10 labels, which we have seen our data. These are the 10 labels, and that's why we have specified 10. In the output layer we will pass softmax activation function. Let's run our sequential model. We can also print the model summary using summary function. Model.summary. This is a summary of the model given to us. These are the flattened layer, dense layer, dense one. First layer R is our flattened layer, and we have passed number of nodes, neurons, which is of 784, and parameter is 0. In the next dense layer we have 128 neurons, and number of parameter is 1,480. And in the next layer, which is output layer, we have 10 neurons and the parameter is 1290. Total parameter 101770. I can also explain you the calculation, how does this parameter values comes. Let me open the calculator. You can see in flattened layer we are passing 784 neurons, and this is a result of 28 into 28 image size. 784, 28 into 28, 784. In a flattened layer we are having 784 neurons and parameters are 0. In the next layer, dense layer, we are having 128 neurons and parameter is 100480. And calculation for this is, you have to multiply this 784 into 128. Let's do this. 784 into 128, and we also have to add 128 plus 128. This is how the value of parameter comes, and this value 1290, what we are doing is we are multiplying 128 into 10 and adding 10. I'll show you this. 128 into 10 plus 10, 1290, 1290. So this is how the value of parameter comes. Total parameter 101770. The calculation for this is, we have to add 100480 with 1290. Let's go and check this also. 100480 plus 1290, value is 101770. You can see both the values are matching. This is how we calculate the parameters. Now we will compile the model. We have to define loss function, optimizer and matrix. Loss function will tell us how much is the accuracy of the model while training and testing. Optimization is used to overcome overfitting of the model during training. Sometimes the model works very well on the training dataset but works very bad on the test dataset. Let's compile our model. Model.compile. In optimizer, we are going to use Adam. For loss, we will use sparse categorical, cross entropy, and for metrics, we will use accuracy. Our loss function is sparse categorical cross entropy, optimizer is Adam, and metrics is accuracy. Let's go ahead and check. Now we have to fit the model on our X-train and Y-train dataset. Model.fit X-train, Y-train, and we will define epoch is equal to 10. Epochs means when the model runs for the first time, the weights will be initialized randomly, and in the next step, via the backpropagation, weights will be updated. Here 10 means the model is getting trained 10 times on the whole data and weights are getting updated 10 times. And the updation of weight is done using backpropagation technique. This will take some time because our model is going to run 10 times. Model has finished running. As we can see in our first run, our loss was 0.49 and the accuracy was 0.82 because initially the weights were initialized randomly, and once the weights were initialized, it was updated again using backpropagation technique, and when the weights were updated, the accuracy also increased from 82, it increased to 86%, and the loss also decreased from 49 to 37%. We can see that after each run, our accuracy was increasing. It started from 82% and it reached up to 91% in our 10th epoch, and the loss decreases from 0.49 in the first epoch to 0.24 in the 10th epoch. If we are going to run this model again for let's say 15 to 20 epoch, our accuracy will also increase and the loss will also decrease, because after every epoch, after every one, our model is updating our weights using the technique of backpropagation. Now let's evaluate the accuracy of the model. We will make two variables, test loss and test accuracy, and we will store our loss and accuracy in that. We will use function evaluate. We will pass x test, y test, print test loss. We can see loss is 32%. Here the loss is given as 0.32, 32%, and accuracy is 0.89, 89%. We can also print accuracy separately if we want. The overall accuracy of the model is 0.8899, approximately 89%, and overall loss is 0.32, 32% loss. We have completed our first deep learning model using TensorFlow and Keras. In the upcoming videos, we will work on CNN model. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you for watching.